welcome to the show. I'm delighted to have my next guest with us. It is Leigh Marcus Patton, and we had a chance to meet at the La Puerta banquet
We did.
not too long ago at Baylor, and we sat together at the table and kind of struck up a conversation. And come to find out, you have a mission in Africa,
I do.
in South Sudan and Kenya. It's called Undying Hope. Leigh, it's delightful to have you here on the show.
Thank you. I'm happy you invited me.
Well, you wear several hats because you are a realtor as well.
Yes.
And with Camille, right?
Yes.
Camille Johnson.
Love it there.
Oh, okay. She's amazing. And so let's talk a little bit about your real estate career and your ministry. Tell me a little bit about your background, though, and what brought you to Waco.
Well, years ago, when my children were all leaving to go off to college, I had been out of the workforce for a long time. I stayed at home to help raise my children, and I was feeling a little sorry for myself, not being alone in the house for so long. So I decided that I needed to go to work. And my late husband, thought that real estate would be a great option for me since I loved going out and meeting up with people and looking at pretty houses. So I jumped in with both feet. And 26 years later, here I am. Still at it.
That was in the Metroplex, right?
And that was in Houston.
Oh, in
yes,
Houston.
In Houston.
Okay.
Yes. And so when my husband moved me to Waco because of his work and his family is here, I met Camille and decided that was the best home for me. And I'm so happy she invited me to join their team.
Well, this is great. So what inspired you then to create Undying Hope? And what is that organization's mission?
So the mission for Undying Hope is it's based on education, health, spiritual movement, and it all started years ago when there was a civil war in Sudan, where you had the very radical Muslims fighting the Christians in the south, and a young man by the name of Teal was one of the surviving boys, lost boys of Sudan. There were several books and a movie that was produced telling us about his life and the boys that were lost in this 500-mile trek. And so many of these young boys, their homes were burned and parents bludgeoned to death. And Teal was one of the few surviving boys left. And he decided that if he ever found a way in his later life to try to rebuild his country, he would definitely work on that. So Teal was one of a few boys that were basically adopted through a church in Bethesda, Maryland. And my friend, Dr. Charles Balch, who was a former UT MD Anderson Medical Center president, he kind of took Teal under wing and made sure he brought him to this country, made sure he learned how to speak English. Teal went on to graduated from high school, went on to college, and is just now completing his PhD. So we're so proud of Teal.
Good for him.
And so slowly but surely, Undying Hope was established in 2019. And we're on our way, building hospitals and working with orphans. And we have expanded throughout South Sudan. We work with an orphanage in South Sudan, but now we're reaching out to Uganda and Kenya. So it's become very, very big.
Yeah. So how did you personally get involved with it? I mean, you knew Dr. Balch.
Dr. Balch, but all of the people on the board have their own strengths, things that they can add to the group. And so I do basically networking and bringing people together.
Your title, the Minister of Finance. I mean, that sounds like a government position.
It's huge, isn't that? No, yes, we all work together at the board on trying to figure out where, on a budget, just starting this mission, where the fund should go and where money is best spent. So,
Yeah. Share a little bit more about the work. What you say, building hospitals? I mean,
well, it's such a large process over there. The getting land from the government basically is a stretch in itself. To build a hospital or really anything where you try to help the people. For instance, getting land and showing the people how to grow crops so that they can sustain themselves is very poor and lots of poverty. So, and then trying to find hospital equipment. I was at a fundraiser one night and met a lovely woman in Houston who had an association with another nonprofit where hospitals take used equipment that is perfectly usable, but maybe slightly outdated, like a cell phone. The 13 works, but we want the 15. And so they take all this equipment and they send it to third world countries. And then they teach the staff how to use the equipment. So that's incredible. And she was able to help me find several hundreds of thousands of dollars in hospital equipment to ship there. So.
What are some of the biggest challenges that the people face there? I mean,
so many.
Extreme
so
poverty,
many.
I'm sure.
There's so much money at the top that the people down below never see. For instance, families, when they run into hardship, they actually sell their little girls into marriage, which breaks my heart. And you have 9-year-old little girls that are married to 50-year-old men. And what keeps this from being from the men from being pedophiles is that the little girls have been sold into marriage. They're married to 9-year-old girls. Yeah. And that's difficult. And education is difficult there. You have little boys. Most people, if they can only afford to educate some of their children, they'll educate the little boys and not the little girls. Little girls are for marriage and making babies. So that's hard too.
Culturally, I mean, obviously there's...
Yes, health is... And educating the kids on health, they just is huge.
Hygiene,
there's a lot
like
hygiene, so much disease that they just don't get it. And different levels of education, like if a family sends their children to school and it's not a private school by no means is how you and I would think of private education in this country. It's definitely a step above what they have, but you could have a classroom of 10 or 15 children sitting under a tree, and a blackboard could be a cowhide.
Oh my.
Yeah, so it's definitely very, very third world.
Yeah, I was going to say third world. Are there some particular projects or maybe success stories that you're familiar with?
Yes. So Undying Hope, we raise funds to try and educate as many kids as we can, and send these kids off to school. And we now actually have girls and boys that have graduated and now moved on to secondary education, which is great. So we're excited about that.
Oh, yeah. No, that's wonderful. So day to day, I mean, here stateside, I mean, what does your role as Minister of Finance for Undying Hope, what does that mean for you here? Are you constantly raising money or?
Yes, lots of fundraisers in Houston, and now we're working on Dallas and Austin as well. So to try and get our mission out so people understand what we're trying to raise awareness to do. So many people ask me, well, we have so much poverty in our own country. Why would you reach out to Africa? The African poverty is not even close to what our poverty is in this country. You have 3-year-olds over there that are rummaging through trash trying to find something to eat. It's really dreadful. I saw a man in front of me in one of the hospitals that actually collapsed and died from dehydration. It's really, in most cases, a dreadful situation. So we try to raise funds to help with health awareness is just definitely a huge problem there. So we try to educate them on that to keep people healthy. They don't have dentists and well, they do, but very few and far between can go, and that's if they find one. It's certainly only in big cities you'll find a little better medical help, but not a lot. Kenya is probably the most advanced city, but like countries like South Sudan, they just are so poor.
Yeah, so poverty stricken. A lot more I want to talk to you about when we come back. I do want to take a break, though, and we'll come back with Leigh Marcus Patton. But I want to tell you that today's show is brought to you by Gather & Co., where they are transforming houses into homes. You stay with us. We'll be right back. A big thank you to our sponsor, Fox & Co. Bakery. Check them out for delicious baked goods and your catering needs.
It's football season, and we can create your outdoor tailgating spaces that is actually a part of your home. Bifold doors that tie in the inside and the outside, and you can gain anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 square feet living space, all while taking in the big game, poolside. Call us at Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath, where we can create your unique tailgating space.
Serving Central Texas since 1889, TFNB Your Bank for Life takes pride in being more than a bank. At TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, Your Bank for Life.
Hey Waco, meet your new favorite email. It's called the Waco Buzz, the local newsletter that skips crime and chaos and gets straight to the good stuff. New restaurants, hidden gems, weekend events, and stories that make you proud to call Waco home. It's quick, free, and written by people who love Waco as much as you do. Join thousands of neighbors who already start their mornings with the Waco Buzz at thewacobuzz.com.
And we are back with Leigh Patton, and it is a delight to hear more about the mission that she has been very involved with. It's called Undying Hope. It's in South Sudan and Kenya, and it's really fascinating for me to talk to someone who's been there, boots on the ground, to see the level of poverty, the level of need. This mission is kind of multifaceted, from what I can tell.
Yes.
From medical kind of aspects to education.
Spiritual development.
Right. So I wanted to talk about, are churches kind of coming on board with you? Are you able to?
Yes. Churches are coming on board with us slowly. There's a Presbyterian church that runs the orphanage for girls in South Sudan. And they have come on board. And now we're, like I said, branching out to other countries like in Uganda and in Kenya. So we're working on that.
Yeah. What lessons have you learned in working in Africa, and how often have you been able to physically go?
I go at least once a year and twice if I can. But so much of the groundwork is done here to help them there. What have I learned? I've learned that in life, I think all of us have an obligation to try and help whoever they can. You know, we are so blessed. It's incredible for me to go there and almost feel the guilt that and overwhelms me that I can get up in the morning and choose what dress I want to wear or what pair of shoes I want to wear, and then saunter out to the kitchen and decide if I want to eat Cheerios or do I want to make eggs and bacon. They don't have that luxury, and most of them live, if they have anything, it's a hut, not a home, with dirt floors. But they are very welcoming, and I cry when I leave there because I love these people so much. The children just drape their arms around your neck, and they have so much love to share. And it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I'm sure it is so heartwarming to you when you're able to go. How do you balance, your work, what you're doing to kind of set the groundwork and so forth for Undying Hope with your real estate business,
Well,
with the other things that you do?
real estate business is my everyday life. In Undying Hope, I do that by night and real estate by day. So it's a great balance between family work and my work than my mission work.
What do you love the most about helping people as they're looking for a home here in Central Texas?
Well, you always feel like you're helping people. And what new realtors don't always understand. They get in thinking, oh, this is going to be so much fun, helping people find their new home. And for the most part, it always is a joy for people to find their new homes. But so often you run into, sickness and divorce and death, that you have to be very transparent, and you have to show a lot of compassion and spend time with these people to really understand, why they're hurting, or and actually embrace their joy too. So it's
the real estate market has certainly changed in the last few years.
It has.
So, just your observations on where we are now. I had Camille on not too long ago, and I asked her the same question, what she was seeing.
Well, what I'm seeing is we went for so many years as a seller's market with multiple offers on homes when
it was crazy.
Interest rates were lower. But then when COVID changed a lot too. I have to say the pandemic changed, and then the interest rates went up, and it changed really from a seller's market to a buyer's market. But slowly but surely it's really coming back, and we have so many Californians moving to Texas now. I mean, lots of Californians moving here. So that's
maybe a lot more New Yorkers too.
Probably so.
Probably so.
So we'll see what happens.
So, just what is it you love though about helping people?
Getting to know them and making friendships.
I was going to say, I bet you make lasting friendships with your
lasting
clients.
Friendships. So many of them, I go to their children's weddings, and I can drive, especially in Houston, just learning my way in Waco, but I can go by almost any given street in my community and know the last 3 owners and their dog's name and the children's names and where they went off to, because they keep in touch through email and Christmas cards, and it's a lovely
Facebook, social media is always a good way to keep up with people, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Back to Undying Hope. What are there some projects or goals that you have in the next, say, year or so? What is it you're hoping to be able to, for the next time you go, you say you try to go each year.
Is to, for me, is to try and raise enough money so that we can add more and more scholarships. And now they're trying to, teach in the schools awareness about growing so they can be self-sustaining and crops. And that's definitely, I would have to say education, raising money for education is top priority for me.
How can people here locally help get involved and help you with
And
what you're doing?
there's so many ways. You can go to undyinghope.org and read all about the organization and their outreach programs. And it's extensive, it's amazing, and there are so many people that are jumping on board. And to go there and actually see what the organization has been able to accomplish just since 2019 is incredible.
I was going to say, I mean, that's a relatively new
Yes, it
organization.
is.
When you
And
think
it's
about it.
grown very quickly.
Yeah. So especially to have expanded there on the continent.
The president of South Sudan actually invited us into his home and has been willing to try to help us. And the Minister of Health there and the Minister of Education on the ground, there's lots of people working to help. So that's good that they're all on board.
Well, you mentioned, the warring and so forth, and we're hearing about the massacre of Christians, in some of those countries over there. Are you seeing persecutions like that?
Well, the State Department doesn't let me travel over there when there's a lot of conflict. And in the last couple of years, there has been more conflict. They started to recover after the huge civil war, and now they've hit some rough spots. But by and large, we still go. We're well protected. There is a certain element of danger when you go, but they make sure that we are safe when we're there.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. You wear flak jackets. Is it that kind of?
It's armed.
You have guards.
I have guards. Yes.
Yeah, you have armed
Yes.
guards with you.
But I want to say one thing. So on my first trip, I had friends, even my husband tried to talk me out of it. And I don't know what it was, but on my way to the airport, it's like I prayed about it.
Yeah.
I had an amazing weight lifted off my shoulders, and I just knew that that's where God wanted me to be. And that's still my contention. I feel like I'm in the right place.
Yeah, the safest place is in the center of His will.
I don't worry when I'm there. I know that
Really?
it's where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know you've made lasting friendships over there.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah. What is something you want our viewers and listeners to take away about Undying Hope today?
I want them to know that God put us all here. And some of us suffer more than others. And if they can just reach out, and not just financially, but just be kind to people that need help. That's what my wish would be.
I like to end these little visits with a sort of a questionnaire similar to the one the late, great James Lipton used on Inside the Actor's Studio. So, Leigh, I'm going to ask you some questions. What is your favorite word?
Hope. Faith.
Yeah. Undying, as in Undying
Yes.
Hope. Yeah. What is your least favorite word?
Can't.
I hear that a lot.
Can't.
Yeah. I hear that a lot from people. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Helping. helping people in general. I'm definitely an advocate for philanthropy work. I would have to say that.
Yeah.
And,
Well, and in your real estate business, some year you're helping people. I mean, it's
and I think a good thing to teach our children also is make no small plans. Think outside of the box, what you can do, not what you can't do.
yeah, yeah. What turns you off creatively or spiritually or emotionally?
I think what turns me off spiritually are people who, gosh, I hate to say this, but I think what turns me off are people that pretend to go out and be people that they aren't on Sundays, and then go home and don't practice their faith in their family life.
Kind of
Be-
frauds.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a huge turnoff. And what I like are all the people that go out and try to just make our world a happy place.
Yeah, yeah. What is your favorite sound?
What is my favorite sound? Music.
Yeah.
Music makes me happy. All kinds of music. I love country music. I love Louis Armstrong. I love all kinds.
Oh, good. What is your least favorite sound?
My least favorite, would be this. Least favorite sound, probably the sound of a bang. Like
Yeah. A loud jarring. kind of a noise.
large jarring. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. You're a realtor, a missionary. What job would you like to try or like to have tried?
I think oceanography.
Really?
Yes.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
Oceanography.
How fun, yeah.
Yes, I love plant life in the ocean and studying, studying the oceans and the animals that live in the ocean. Ocean life, yes.
Cool, cool. What job do you know you don't want to do? No thanks. Let somebody else do that.
Medical.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I don't. Think
I have heard that before.
I don't think I could work on a human.
Yeah, nothing to do with blood.
Yeah, to hear them say "ouch," I would be
sorry.
like,
Oh, no,
I'm
I'm
so
sorry."
sorry. Yeah, I don't think I could do it.
But you're helping people in that
Yes.
department. Though.
Yeah.
One last question.
Sure.
When you arrive at the pearly gates, what do you want to hear the Lord say to you, Leigh?
Good job, Leigh. Well done. I don't know that he's going to say that, but I can always hope.
Oh, well, I am just delighted to have gotten to know you and to
Thank
hear
you.
more about Undying Hope and the work. And again, folks can go to, what is the website?
It's undyinghope.org to read
Undying.
the story. It's a very interesting story, how it all happened.
Wonderful. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Yeah. Stay with us. We are going to meet another amazing woman here whose life and work truly embody the spirit of service, leadership, and Texas pride. That's DeLisa Duncan Russell. So stay with us, and I will tell you that today's show is brought to you by the Wild Watusi Boutique on Hewitt Drive. It's just down from George's Bar and Grill in Hewitt. So stay with us. There's more of the show ahead.
Get ready for a morning full of fun and friendly competition at the City of Woodway's first annual Family Field Day on November 22nd from 9 to noon at 9001 Bosque Boulevard. Enjoy a morning of family fun and friendly competition, starting off right with the 5K Woodway Wobble Race, and then participate in events like tug of war, sack races, an egg toss, a pie eating contest, and so much more. Grab a t-shirt, food truck treats, and create a craft to take home. The Austin Avenue Art Fair is coming to us November 22nd and 23rd. It is back for its third year, taking over downtown with the annual celebration of Waco's arts and culture. All weekend long, you can get to know Waco's talented artists as you explore both artist booth and enjoy live music from local bands. The Art Walk of Waco involves local businesses in which they host artists to create, display, and sell their work. And there's also going to be an art duel in which artists compete in a timed event to see who can create the best winning masterpiece. And you get to vote on your favorite. I'm Elizabeth Riley with Act Locally Waco, and I will see you next time.
And welcome back to the show. As promised, I want to introduce you to DeLisa Duncan Russell. And it's just a delight to have you back. I mean, it was a long time ago. You were on the podcast 5 years ago. I don't know.
It doesn't seem like it was that long
but
ago.
But it was COVID.
Yeah.
We were in COVID.
I can't believe that.
And but the reason you reached out to me because you have recently been commissioned as a Yellow Rose of Texas. Hence the beautiful shirt that you're wearing.
Thank
The
you.
highest honor bestowed on Texas women for exceptional community service, advocacy, and preservation of our state's heritage. So congratulations. You were nominated for this. What was your reaction when you found out?
Well, I'm a sixth-generation Texan, so, every Texas gal, I think, has a thing about the Yellow Rose of Texas. And so there's been so many great women, for Texas. I mean, all the way from Ma Ferguson to Ann Richards.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
To, Barbara Jordan. So many great examples and everything. But I'm very humbled by this. I've gotten to do a whole lot of wonderful things, and I know we'll talk about that. But it's really a we award, in my opinion, not just a me award, because I've just been so lucky that I've gotten to work with so many great groups of people to do that. But it was an honor. I'm still kind of flabbergasted by all of it, but I'm at the same time very excited.
So how were you notified about it? How did you find out?
Well, my husband's not the best secret keeper and everything. And sometimes, sometimes he lets little things slip. But after he left Waco and everything, Dr. Michael Russell, after he left Waco, he went on and started doing things. He was the police officer psychologist in Houston. To become a police officer in Houston, you went through him, and then he never got tired of wearing the uniform, and so he started working with the Texas Guard, and led a brigade with that, and then was in charge of the training and everything. And so this kind of came from some of that, like with his group with the Texas Guard and the support that I was always able to give to them. And so the brigadier general that presented it and everything was through the Texas State Guard. And so that's kind of where it all came from.
Oh, well, it is such an honor. So what does it mean to you personally to have this designation?
I think it's really kind of still sinking in, Yeah. I'm always really good about talking about organizations, and I usually am not talking about DeLisa, but this award has DeLisa's name on it. So yes, of course it's an amazing honor, but I want to give that back to it because it was just all those individuals that have lifted me up throughout my life and, that I've been able to work with.
Yeah, quite an impressive group, Brigadier General Buddy Grantham, as you say.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. You do have an incredible heritage of those sixth-generation Texan, as you say. How has your Texas upbringing kind of brought to your sense of service and need to serve?
Yeah, my ancestors go all the way back to the Alamo. We have some people buried at
Really?
the Alamo. And, my daddy was a rancher. My daddy was a rancher.
In DeKalb?
In DeKalb, Texas, outside of Texarkana. We always were told that it took everybody. When you grow up on a ranch, it takes everybody to do the work. It's not just one person. And, so really from the get-go, it was about that. It was from the get-go in school. I was so lucky to be a part of a lot of organizations in school. My church was very important. The organizations that I worked with, our high school band was like the band, that we were in, and I got to be the twirler for that. And so, there's never been a time that I think that there was time for grass to grow underneath your feet. There's always something that needs to be done. And, we Texans, we like to believe that, the world revolves around Texas. And then,
it doesn't.
So I still believe that. Right?
Really?
But I think that, you're always being taught that there's something that you can be doing.
Yeah.
There's something that you can be doing to make your community better. To make the organizations better and everything. And so, I learned that from the cradle. I believe.
Yeah. Well, your parents, an Army veteran.
Yes.
And your mom, a music teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they clearly instilled those values in you.
Yeah. And growing up in a little bitty town, I joke, I get excited everywhere we go because I grew up in a one red light town. The highlight was going to eat pizza at the junction and going to the Dairy Queen for ice cream. But it was that small town. Of course, there were always rivalries and different football teams and different things like that were right around there. But we were a group. It's interesting. I just went to my high school reunion a couple of weeks ago, and it's still like that. It's still like a family. And I think that no matter how big you get, I went to the big city of Houston, right, at a time that it was a big city, and what we learned was that during COVID, it took all of us coming together, just like that little small town that I grew up in, to really make a difference. So.
Yeah. You mentioned reunion, of course, school and church and all that. So it just, these kind of fed into your lifelong calling of service.
I really, spiritually, my spirituality is really important to me, and I joke that I've only applied for one job in my entire career, and it actually was when I was at Baylor. I needed a little extra spending money to eat, and so
we all like to eat.
Yeah, we always like to eat and everything. And so I applied out what at that time was Brazos Psychiatric Hospital. It's the DePaul Hospital, and I really do believe that if you say that there's a higher power, God, however you want to say that, that higher power has always put me where I need to be. That I've been destined to be there, and we've done some really great things.
Yeah, so that was the only job you applied for. So your schooling, though, was in psychology?
Well, I went off to Virginia for my undergrad. I went to Virginia, and but my father passed away right whenever I went to school, so we had to come back to Texas and everything to be there for the family. And I was excited because I had actually already been accepted at Baylor. I had thought about Baylor, and I came back, and Baylor was my family. The people at Baylor was my family, and I feel like that really took good care of me. And I got to, finish, and when I came back, I had what they said were multiple majors because of the school I'd been at. So I could go psychology, I could go social work, I could go political science. And so I kind of rolled all those things together and just made sure that I did something that I would always have a job.
And it seems like that's just kind of come your way.
It has.
Along the way.
I've been blessed.
Of course, your service record is incredibly broad, as you say, from child advocacy to veterans, mental health. What drives you to take on these diverse challenges?
Again, I do believe that it's a guidance that, I started off, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I actually was the director of social work for St. Catherine's Center back when I was an undergrad.
Really?
That's when I got with with my social work. So I went on and I thought geriatrics was always going to be the way that I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And was able to work with the Marianas residents up in San Antonio, the Daughters of Charity, obviously down here. Doing that, that's where I felt like I was led to be, at that time. 9/11 changed things for a lot of people. And that was really whenever I got involved with the active duty. And, when people were deployed, we had great resources with the Department of Defense, but they were deployed. And so we worked together, one of my really good friends, Matt Wilburn, in San Antonio, and started the first civilian collaboration with the Department of Defense in San Antonio, Military City, USA. And so even though I wasn't serving in the military, I absolutely felt like that's what I was doing during that time, because there were so many people coming back and they were broken and they needed the help. So in the involvement of that, in the process of all that, I met my husband not as a patient, people go, wait, did you meet him there? No, that wasn't
qualify that. Yeah.
So I want to make sure that we know that. But no, he was working for the Army Surgeon General, and some people that we knew actually hooked us up on a date. They thought we would actually clash and kill each other and everything because we were so different.
Strong personalities.
Such strong personalities, but it worked because he really does have that servant's heart. And, I think that a lot of things that kind of came after that was just the fact that I met who that person was that I needed to be with, and we were able to do it together. And that's what led us to Waco, and the One Stop.
Well, I was going to say, you did groundbreaking work with veterans, and that helped to launch the Veterans One Stop here in Waco, leading early PTSD initiatives.
Really learning that during the Iraq War, having the opportunity to study under people like Edna Foa, who did prolonged exposure, and Kate Shard that had CPT, which are really still like the leading things in working with trauma with PTSD. But, whenever I left San Antonio and came to Waco, and the whole idea was kind of going around about the Veterans One Stop and what else we could do, I really do believe, again, that was a divine thing that just kind of came to play, because you came in and the groundwork had already been laid for a lot of it. But getting, talk about getting the right team, really getting all the people together and getting the veterans excited. I love the back of our T-shirts. It said, thank you for your service. We still need you. And I think that was such a powerful thing, because, you have a lot of wonderful people that can do things on their own. But again, it comes back to that we and not me thing. When you put all those people together, the world's your oyster. And I really think that we saw that here in Waco.
Well, and of course, it was so delightful to see Veteran One Stop grow. You just kept outgrowing the facilities you were in.
So many things. I mean, I always love this time of year, because I always think about the military and family. Thanksgiving. I think the last year was 1,000 people. I think, weren't you serving mashed potatoes or something?
We were there serving, and we were doing live shots, and it was
the kitchen angels.
It was amazing,
and everything. The Kyle family and the gym and just everything. Just the wonderful people that I got to serve along with that, and taking that on to Houston. Whenever you take on a CEO position in a hospital and everything, I reflected back on all those lessons I learned, running a nonprofit, and we needed that definitely during COVID.
Well, there's a lot more I want to talk to you, DeLisa, about the Veterans One Stop, but also, you're moving out of Houston and what you're doing there. We're going to take a quick break, though, but I want to tell you to save the dates. December 3rd through the 7th, the Clifton Chamber of Commerce invites you to celebrate with them a Norwegian Christmas. We will be back with more of the show right after this.
Natural Cycles identifies your fertile window by analyzing changes in your temperature. Just measure in the morning, add your temperature into the app, then learn which days you can and cannot get pregnant. It's that easy. Learn more at naturalcycles.com.
It's the Restore Clarity Focus Patch, my little secret weapon for staying sharp, focused, and on task. Each box comes with simple instructions inside, so you always know exactly how to apply it. Each patch lasts for 3 days. I love that I can wear it all day.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more.
And I am back with DeLisa Duncan Russell. We've known each other, gosh, since the KXXV days.
Oh, yeah.
You would come to the station. We'd talk about Veterans One Stop. And what an amazing thing that has been. Do you have some stories from that time when you were here with Veterans One Stop you can share?
Oh, my gosh. There are just so many. I mean, I think that, I remember what are we going to do with this building? I think I could say this. We were between the flea market and the strip club. Like, what are you gonna do with this building, right? And it just turned into a magical place that more and more people, wanted to do something with. And I hope people still go over and look, because people, the pictures on the walls of the people that have been there before us, and the things that were brought in, so many historical things that I love that. I always want to mention Jerry Gwynn. We lost him during COVID. He was just a magical human being, and the things that we did, being a charity champion. I mean, TFMB. That is a fabulous program for any nonprofit to be a part of. So thankful for David and all that they do. So there's just so many. I mean, there's so many memories when I look back on Waco.
Yeah, and of course, Elmer Spates is just doing a great thing there now. Had a chance to visit with him on the show and love what they're doing. Going to shift gears just a little bit. You were selected as a leadership scholar with the George W. Bush Institute Veteran Leadership Program. Tell me about that.
That has to be probably, you say that. I've done so many amazing things, but the Veteran Leadership Program that George W. Bush has done, and actually there's applications that are going out for this next year for anybody that's listening to this that wants to apply. That was a magical experience that you're with people that are just amazing leaders. I mean, everything from Peter Pace, who had been the Joint Chiefs of Staffs, Bob McDonnell, who had led the VA. I mean, these people they're superstars, and you're just sitting there with them, and it's kind of hard not to be like a bit of a fan girl with all of that, but they're so humble. Yeah. They're such humble servant leaders. And, the Bush Institute, they have a magic there. I don't know how they do it, but they put together a group of individuals that in their own right that they've done things, but that they're all different, some different political philosophies, everything else, but you learn to work together, because the work that you do as a group can do such great things. And we call them cousins, because they're family once you do that together. I have cousins that are writing books now and doing so many amazing things. And being a part of that organization is just, it changes your life. It really does.
Yeah. Well, as an LPC supervisor and mentor, you're helping to kind of shape the next generation of mental health professionals. What advice do you have for people who want to go into this field?
I talk a lot about teamwork. I mean, yes, you were a therapist and you're a one-on-one doing private therapy, but I think that having your mentors, really having the people that you can bounce things off with. I mean, we're living at a time that a lot of people have trauma. A lot of people are suffering, and I think that having that group together that you can process. I'm only supposed to meet with my what I call my baby LPCs once a week, but they know that they can, if the minute that they finish a session or something like that they can call me and we can process that. And continuing to do that, as well as like, be able to travel nationally and doing a lot of leadership trainings and working with hospitals and stuff. That's a pretty exciting, a new adventure.
Yeah, well, absolutely. You've been honored by a lot of organizations as well, DeLisa, ranging from the Vietnam Veterans Association of the Marine Corps League. When you look back on this, what is your takeaway? What means the most to you and why?
I joke, being married to an Army colonel, he never thought he was going to be married to a Marine. But, Bobby Joe, they made me an honorary Marine with the Marine Corps League and just all of those. Again, amazing servant leaders. Gary with the Vietnam Veterans of America, all of those people that have really just done so much. It's humbling to when they do something for you that, yes, it's an award that has your name on it, but it is so much because you did it with a group and everything. So working with the Vietnam Veterans of America over at the One Stop, like I said, working with the Marine Corps League, working with the VFWs, the American Legions, just
many great organizations.
Just too many to
support.
To even like.
Yeah.
But I think that the magic happens is when they all come together.
Yeah.
I really feel like that is the magic, because it's the mission, right? Yeah. I mean, that is when you have a mission. I think maybe that's why I'm drawn so much to veterans and the military and stuff, because they know, they've been there in that part of their life that they knew what the mission was. And I think the mission is just to leave the world a better place. Whenever when you depart from it, do you really feel like that you did something that you left the world a better place?
Yeah. Speaking of your relationship with your husband, Dr. Michael Russell, you share a deep commitment to all things military and your faith. How has this strengthened your marriage?
Well, even though now, we're doing a lot of consulting things. Michael has officially retired, he said, for the last time, but I think this is like 6 or 7.
I thought I saw that on Facebook somewhere.
Yes,
I thought,
yes.
Is that true?
Today when I'm here with you, what is Michael doing? He's serving at the Montgomery Food Bank, because we're concerned about, with the governmental shutdown, how is this impacting people to be able to put food on the table. So so it never stops, whether I'm working for an organization or I'm consulting or whatever. I think it's just who we are. And I think that, again, that's the magic with Michael, is because he has that servant's heart as well. And we just want to know that we're contributing. Everybody can.
Well, as you pour so much of yourself into others in service, how do you personally find renewal and balance?
That's a good question. I mentioned that I grew up in that little one red light town. So I think that going out and seeing this great big world that God has created, I love to travel and do things like that. And I think that's an humbling thing too, because you realize that, your country's not the only country out there. Your community's not the only country out there. You see that there's still so many things that need to be done and everything. But then being able to take that, and that fulfills me. And friends, I have my Pilates buddies. I have things, because you've got to take care of you, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's one thing I talk to when I'm consulting and everything, is we're givers.
Yeah.
We give and we give and we give. But we still have to take care of ourselves. And so, taking that time, I have too many dogs, and, walking the dogs, going to Pilates, reading a good book, and traveling.
Yeah. Well, you look marvelous.
Well, thank you, Ann.
So, what is next for you? What are you looking down the road?
Like I said, we're taking a little time to do some fun things, but my company is called DR2 Health. And so, taking the things that I learned in being part of the Bush program, as well as like all the amazing organizations that I've been able to lead, and going in and helping other leaders really learn the lessons that it took me a while to kind of to get it together, learning about collaboration, really learning about teamwork, learning that to be a good leader, it doesn't mean that you're at the top of the pyramid. Really, I think it's about inverting the pyramid, because we are, if you're a good leader, you're supporting everybody that's on the bottom and they're on the top. And when you do that, you can make some great changes in the world.
Mm-hmm. Well, you are a perfect representative for the Yellow Rose of Texas, which honors women who are, their lives just embody this strength and this grace, this community spirit. When you think about that legacy, the Yellow Rose spirit, shall we call it, what does that mean to you?
Well, you know, when we talk about the Yellow Rose, you know, we talk about Emily West, you know.
Right.
What did she use to distract Santa Anna? We don't really know, right? But you all have a talent.
We've heard all kinds of things.
We've all heard different things. But I think that, you know, that for the young women that are out there reaching in, and what is your talent? You know, is mine the gift of gab? Or, you know, I always say I've had jobs that I got paid to love people all day long. Mm-hmm. You know, what is your gift in giving back? And, you know, I want to represent the great state of Texas. You know, I hope that what I'm doing, you know, has made my mama proud. You know, she's a good Texas gal too, and my grandmother and everything. And you know, just taking that and saying, what is your gift? Because whatever your gift is could be life-changing. And that's what Emily West did in becoming the Yellow Rose of Texas.
Yeah, your message of encouragement then to Texas women.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, it's a time that find your gifts, male and female, you know, find your gifts and use them for good.
Yeah. Well, we are in November, and I just think the whole month of November is a great time to honor and recognize our vets. So any closing comments you have about Veterans Day that we saw?
Right.
You know, a week or so
ago.
You
know, so many things. I always think of Robert Carter this time of year.
I know.
And starting the Veterans Day parade really here in Waco. And that's always just been an amazing event.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and the banners now up Austin Avenue.
Beautiful.
If you haven't had a chance to see them, they are great. Elmer had told me about what the plan was to provide those banners.
I think that's fabulous.
They are delightful to see them.
I mentioned that the applications are out right now for the Bush organization, that anybody wants to be the Veteran Leadership Program, that is out there. You know, President Bush has continued to give back to our veterans and that with his organization. So, you know, I think every day's Veterans Day at my house.
I'll bet it is.
Every day's Veterans Day at our house, and the love that I have for them, because, you know, their family, military family, is always family. But you know, I do encourage people to think about those that right now, like I said, my husband's volunteering at the food bank.
Yeah.
We have so much to be thankful for, and I think that just continuing to give back and being thankful that you have that opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Well, you are just doing it all so beautifully, and I appreciate you so much, DeLisa, for coming, spending some time. I know you got a lot going on, and it's just great that you could spend some time with us.
It's always a wonderful opportunity to come back, and I'll go see some of those veterans that I love so much while I'm in town. And Waco, wow, every time it's, you know, when you pull into town, it's pulling into home, and you know, it's the people of Waco. It's such a fabulous community. You know, it's a great state to live in. Waco's a great city to live in. You know, love that. We're out in Magnolia now, which is outside of the Woodlands, but part of the reason that we love
the actual community named Magnolia.
Yeah. I mean,
that's beautiful.
Great people there.
There are
wonderful people, and so I'll just always keep it open. What's next, God?
Yeah.
You know, that's what I just keep asking.
Yeah, he just keeps opening doors for you, and you just walk right through them. But we will claim you as our own anytime you come.
I will take that.
Come back to town.
We
appreciate that. Thank you,
so
DeLisa.
much, Ann.
Thank you. Stay with us. There is more of the show ahead, and I want to tell you today's show is brought to you by Fox & Co. Bakery, where we bake foxy things. You stay with us.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at fullwellfertility.com.